Hey, somebody needs to lose the headphones. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You're listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. This week, The Professional Noticer is sponsored by WisdomHarbor.com. Today, families and school systems all over America are finding WisdomHarbor.com's one-of-a-kind streaming service to be the perfect, low-cost, high-quality educational tool for their students. Wisdom Harbor's stated responsibility is to create the next greatest generation, starting with your hometown and your school system. For less than $3 a month per teacher, classrooms have access to original content only found on WisdomHarbor.com that teaches, entertains, and builds character in young people while creating conversations between young people and the adults in their community. Utilizing video, audio, and the written word, content is delivered in small bites by Grammy winners, CEOs, comedians, chefs, best-selling authors, and Hall of Fame speakers. There are even guitar lessons from an award-winning songwriter. Check it out today and join your friends and neighbors who are already a part of WisdomHarbor.com. And isn't it time your schools got involved? WisdomHarbor.com, creating America's next greatest generation, starting with your hometown. Observations and answers, that's what we do on The Professional Noticer. And usually we bring a guest to you, but this time we're bringing a clip. Every other Wednesday, I go to Birmingham, Alabama, and I do the Rick Burgess Show live. Rick Burgess is an American radio broadcaster and really an icon in the industry. His show's on 70 radio stations, and it's live on YouTube, and it's live on Sirius XM. And every other Wednesday, I go up there and play with those guys, with Rick and Speedy and Greg and Adler, and it is a free-for-all. It's a lot of fun, but we thought you might want to see the 8 o'clock hour from last Wednesday, and so that's what we have for you this week. We think you're going to laugh a lot. I think you're going to be really interested in this. This is the Rick Burgess Show, last Wednesday, the 8 o'clock hour.
Here we go. And we're not alone. We're not alone. We got another noticer. Here he is. So Greg Adler here. Speedy has been on the road today, bringing joy to the people of Huntsville at $20 at a time. So thanks for the great turnout there, Huntsville. That was phenomenal. And all of you there at 100.3 The River for helping out with that today. Speedy, good work. So, I mentioned that the other noticer, he's better known as the ultimate noticer, and that's Andy Andrews.
There he is.
Andy Andrews is back with BS or Be True. Andy, how are you, buddy? There we go.
I'm doing great.
On the old big boy mic.
I came earlier today to avoid the traffic.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
I went by, I had a blast from the past when I went by Briarwood Christian School.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. I'm sure that it's totally different than from when I was in high school. But I went to Berry. You guys didn't go here.
We did not. We grew up in Calhoun County. We went to Oxford High School.
So you don't know what I know about Briarwood Christian School. When I was in school, see, I'm sure it's all Christians now. But when I was in school, the bad kids went to Briarwood. If you get caught smoking pot, you're going to Briarwood. Get in a fight, going to Briarwood.
No.
Underage drinking, going to Briarwood.
No, you're right, because
I bet on weekends they were having a ball.
Yeah, well, pulling the curtain back, because some Christian schools are what's called a covenant school,
right,
which means you must have a testimony. Others are not, and Briarwood always did not want to be a covenant school.
Wow.
Meaning that anyone could come there, and they hoped it would be beneficial. But as you said, maybe not looking ahead and realizing it became the school that was unfortunately put in a position, fix my kid.
That's back in the day.
Back in the day.
I'm sure it's different now.
I had two graduate from there, and I will say that some of that is still continuing. Which explains why my sons were there. But anyway,
they fit right.
But there's a difference. Some Christian schools are covenant schools. Some
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's so some, if you don't have a testimony of some sort of faith in Christ, you can't go there. But others are like, if we have an opening and you'll pay the money, come on.
Wow.
So there you go.
Wow, very good.
Yeah, so I taught Andy a little something today.
So that's true.
That? BS?
Yeah,
That'd be true, huh?
By the way, is what I just said true or BS? Who knows?
Yeah, Rick Man made it up.
Yes. Andy, of course, has made his way into the studio again. People are loving this. It is going quite well. Now, this is where things get intense. Though it was true that a moment ago when Speedy was on location, Speedy Buy Me Lunch, everyone could be entertained by the experience, but only those in the city of Huntsville could participate. Not so on BS or Be True.
No.
Everybody can participate.
Everybody.
Be true or BS, Rick?
What did I just say?
BS or be true?
I'm so sorry. Be true or BS.
Right.
That is it. And from this point forward, only one word clues. So here are our categories today: Hollywood, science, our culture is back, and of course history. I think is always going to be.
That's a good one.
You love history.
I love history.
You can't get enough of history.
I can't get enough.
So here's how it works: you will get on the line, and we got plenty of people ready to play. And then you can pick the category. Now, over time, if you're not the first person, categories go away. On the categories that are presented to you, you pick your category. Andy will then give you the information. You decide if it be true or it be BS. And if you get that right, Wisdom Harbor.
WisdomHarbor.com.
Got that subscription? That's a given.
Yeah.
And then you decide whether you want Andy, Greg, me, or Adler to spin the wheel of bundles, bits, or bucks. And it's on a hot streak, Andy.
Wow.
It's been throwing out money.
out.
It's been throwing out money. And then you could win something on the wheel, or we have to do a bit on the wheel. So it's one of those two things that could happen. Now, Speedy's not here, so if you land on Speedy, we all know that he is out of money. So that means that you don't win anything.
Don't win anything.
No.
Yeah.
So let's
Just a big thank you.
Yeah, just a bit.
Andy listens to the show.
Of course, Ricky, Andy pointed out you said vegetable wrong.
Well, I say lots of things.
It's a 4-syllable word, not a 3-syllable word.
Say it.
Vegetable. It's not
Vegetable.
vegetable. And the word is vegetable. Well, that's 3 syllables.
Okay, well, now you're confusing me.
Vegetable.
Vegetable. Rick, you left the
I
"t" out.
refuse to say vegetable.
Vegetable.
I do too, but it just
Vegetable.
sounded wrong when
Vegemite.
Rick said it. Vegemite.
Yeah, that's
Sandwich.
true.
Vegetable.
Vegetable.
There you go.
We can't be
vulnerable.
You realize what's bad about that is I'm the one who wrote the words down.
I know.
Why would I write a word down I can't even
But
say?
if you have the word vegetable in the book about your dad, then I'm
vegetable.
hoping you pronounced it right when you read it.
Well, I did.
Probably not in.
By the way, I got to go back and do that again today. What's this little thing
You
where
gotta make up?
They bring you back and you do
Pickups.
Yeah, what is that?
That's where
Look at
you
Andy,
screwed up a word, and
They
they
did not-
say, "Hey, Rick, we need you to say the sentence that has vegetable in it," and then they'll pick it up and they'll insert it.
Do you think they're going to get on me, or am I going back to this Jordan thing again? I hope they're not bringing me back for that.
No, you can. I mean, come on.
Right. You remember that?
Yeah, I do
I went
remember
through
that.
that.
I do remember that.
Okay, and I
They
stood
kept
firm.
correcting you.
Yeah, but so that wouldn't be it.
No, that wouldn't be it.
Nashville people have listened. Now I got to come back.
Yeah, that's right.
John is in Georgia.
Oh, John.
John, you be contestant number 1. John, how are you today, buddy?
Just fine. How are you? Thank you.
I'm good. So, John, here it is. Here's your categories for Be True or BS. Hollywood, science, our culture, history.
That's in Hollywood.
Hollywood it is.
Hollywood.
Andy, stand by and be listening, John.
right.
Andy, go
Here
ahead.
he goes.
Here we go, John. Doris and Hartwell Rubens met as students at Oxford in 1947.
Oh, there you go.
With her Master of the Arts degree in literature and his PhD in philosophy, the married couple moved in 1948 back to America, settling in Chicago to work and raise a family. And this they did. Doris gave birth to a succession of 5 boys who grew up with an appreciation for the arts and philosophy, and each of them became immensely successful. Each son had been given a New Testament name. Matthew, the oldest, was a heart surgeon and stayed in Chicago. Mark and Luke The twins were entrepreneurial, worked at fast food places in high school. Both earned business degrees from Loyola and moved to Madison, Wisconsin, where together Mark and Luke came to own 23 Culver's restaurant franchises. John became a Lutheran bishop, serving the church as a missionary on the western coast of Africa's Botswana. The fifth brother, named Saul, was, believe it or not, renamed Paul on his 12th birthday.
Wow.
At the age of 20, Paul moved to Los Angeles, where he eventually changed his name again, Saul Paul Rubens, to Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, my goodness.
Be true or BS?
John?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it'd be true.
Sorry, that BS.
That whole Pee Wee's story, you made all that up.
I made it all
That's
up.
pretty good.
See, I'm back to this again. I don't know whether to
That's good.
think a lot of Andy for this.
Because I know Paul Rubens, that was his name.
Yeah.
I knew that. That was good. That was good.
The details
I
you put in
think I
there are
would've missed it.
frightening. They're frightening.
You know, that's what I learned talking to my mom and dad when I was 12.
That was awesome.
We'll come back. Still left science, our culture, and history. Another contestant goes head to head with the world's most prolific noticer, Andy Andrews, when the Rick Burgess Show continues right after this.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.
Yep, we're back. Andy Andrews with us today. Be true or BS? Wisdom Harbor brings Andy to us. And if you haven't found out about that, go to wisdomharbor.com. Everybody who can win gets a subscription to that for 1 year. Is that right? 1 year on the Wisdom Harbor. And then we'll let you spin the wheel, but you got to get it right. We have 3 categories that remain.
Here we go.
We did have a listener strike out on Hollywood, but there's 3 that remain. Let's go to Barrett. Barrett, welcome to the Rick Burgess Show. How are you today, Barrett?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good, Barrett. Here's what's left: science, our culture, and history. Which one would you like to volley over to Mr. Andrews and see if you can discern?
Let's do some science, I guess.
Science.
Science.
Bold, Barrett.
Science.
Barrett. All right, so Andy, you're up.
Here you go, Barrett. In 1967, a 16-year-old resident from Pine Island, Minnesota, named Norman Garcia Patterson, had been pheasant hunting with his dad earlier that day. At home, after cleaning the birds, Norman washed up, sat down to dinner, and sneezed. Just once, not even twice, just a single sneeze. It was the 2nd of November. Norman sneezed several times that night. There were no sneezing fits. They seemed random and spaced throughout the evening. But each time Norman did sneeze, it was always just one time. 2 days later, he was still sneezing. But now Norman's mother noticed a pattern. It seemed that Norman was sneezing on the hour, every hour. And yes, he would sneeze other times too, but it wasn't long before she realized that her son was also sometimes sneezing on the quarter or half hour, but always he would sneeze every hour at the top of the hour.
Andy.
After 5 months of this, just 20 minutes down the road in Rochester, the Mayo Clinic had gotten word about the teenager's plight and wanted to take a look. They did, and long story short, could not help. A year passed, then 2, and still Norman continued to sneeze. At night, he even slept through his sneezes. The Mayo Clinic suggested that bacteria from the pheasants he had cleaned might be the culprit, but that whatever brought the sneezes had also affected the memory and organization part of his brain. And then, on the morning of March 3rd, 1970, a now 19-year-old Norman Garcia Patterson woke up and did not sneeze. After 2 years, 4 months, and a day of consistent, organized sneezing, Norman had suddenly stopped and never sneezed again. In medical journals today, the condition of sneezing on a precise time schedule has been named the Garcia-Patterson syndrome. So far, medical researchers have not uncovered another patient like this. So curiously, Norman Garcia-Patterson may be the only person ever to be history's only sufferer of an illness named after him.
Good night, Andy.
Be yes or be true?
Barry, what do you think?
Oh. This is, oh, man. Let's go. Let's go false.
All right, now, the word's not false. You say BS.
I mean,
Andy?
You are correct. That was BS.
Oh, that was good. Hey, you got it right, buddy. Well done.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
all right, you know what that means, don't you? That means the wheel. So, Barrett, you've earned a spin on the wheel, and it's been cash heavy lately. Who would you like to spin on your behalf? Andy, the noticer, Greg Burgess, Adler, or I'll spin it for you.
and this is Derek, by the way, not Barry. But Greg, I believe in you, Greg.
Greg,
All right.
All right, Greg, cut the lights on. I noticed the wheel is not lit up. All right, we're going to cut the lights on, and we're going to let Greg spin the wheel for Barrett, or as some people do call you, Barry.
Derek.
So Barrett, you must say, wow. No, that's the old one.
Derek.
Is it Derek or Barrett?
It's Derek, Derek from Billingsley.
What you call him is Buddy.
Buddy. Okay.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, bud.
Yeah.
Hey, bud.
That's good.
You say it's Will to me, and then Greg will spin it for Barrett, Barry, Derek. And so you must say it's Will to me, and then Greg gives it a rip, and let's see what happens.
It's Will to me, Greg. Come on, buddy.
And there he goes, Andy. Take a look. Isn't she beautiful? So, no wonder we always said, wow, what a will. It really is a dandy. All right, so let's see what Derek wins. Derek.
Something on that cash, Greg.
Oh, come on! Yeah! $1,000 for Barrett, Barry, Derek.
Wow,
How about that? Hey!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Got that money. Got that money.
How about that?
Barry, I'll take 10%.
Barry, Derek, Barrett.
How
Barrett.
many Wisdom Harbor subscriptions is he going to be able to get with that?
Oh, right. So,
Wow.
man, congratulations, Derek. Can I tell you what?
Look at you.
That is why Greg is my favorite.
Well, can I tell
Talk
you?
my way in there.
Can I tell you what's funny? And
Wow.
I see why it happened now talking to you. So we're not screening calls this one because Speedy's gone. We're just taking them as they come in. Well, this thing has a has a memory of people who I guess have called in the past. And your name on the board is Barrett according to the phone system. That means the last time you called, everybody thought you were saying Barrett and actually typed that in.
I probably typed it in.
So now the very man who just won you money gave you the wrong name.
Well, yeah, probably.
All right.
It's okay.
But I see why. All right. So we're going to put you on hold. We'll get all your information, and Big Vox Entertainment will be sending you a sweet, colorful check for $1,000.
How about that?
Woo, boy. Hallelujah.
All right, let me put you on hold.
See you later, buddy.
Boy, go get his info.
All right, so I don't think we have time. We're going to come back and do more, but I think right now I don't think we can get into another one. So why don't you right now quickly tell them what Wisdom Harbor is, Andy, before we go to the break, and we'll come back and play some more.
WisdomHarbor.com is a streaming service, very inexpensive, that is going into family homes and schools. And our spoken goal is to create America's next greatest generation by creating conversations between adults and young people. And so the pieces are done by contributors that are comedians, Grammy winners, chefs, coaches, and it's there's 21 docs in Wisdom Harbor. Bet you didn't know. How do I? Musicians doc, writers doc, all kinds. And so it's and there's even a game show called Be True or BS.
There it is. When you first pitched this idea to me, and I love that you guys are doing it and it's exciting, but it really was kind of heartbreaking that it was needed.
Well,
but it absolutely is,
man.
There was a time when kids, as you said, were not put over, and here's an iPad, here's your phone, go away, don't bother anybody.
Right.
They were sitting around hearing older people with gray hair and gray in their beards, embarking wisdom on the next generation, and we've lost that.
And they were sitting around listening
Just
to
listening.
conversations.
Even if you weren't in the conversation, they
And
were
so
listening. Yeah.
we got two generations now that really don't know how to facilitate a conversation.
No, that's
and
true.
And the only conversation they're having with their parents and grandparents is how was school? How's baseball going?
Yeah. All right, we'll come back. So Wisdom Harbor. So Derek walks away with a year subscription to that kind of knowledge and $1,000 to go with it. So we'll come back. We still have our culture and history remaining. So if you want to be part of that, the number is 888-6-BIG-VOX. We pick another contestant next.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.
All right, Andy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Can you do it again?
I can do it again.
All right, so let's go. Let's take a look here. Here's Indiana checking in. Here's Pete. Pete, how are you, buddy?
Good. How are you guys?
Fired up. You think you want a little hankering for be true or BS?
We'll give it a shot.
All right. Our culture or history. We're down to two.
Let's go culture.
Going with the
All
culture.
right.
Why not? Everybody a little afraid of history today.
Everybody's
All right.
afraid of it.
Our culture. Andy, what say you?
Here we go. During World War II, Stalin funded a project to have women impregnated by gorillas. Stalin ordered Russia's top animal breeding scientist, a Dr. Ivanov, to use his skills to produce a super warrior. It was the Soviet dictator's dream to have a new invincible human being insensitive to pain and indifferent about the quality of food they eat. Stalin's goal was a slave race of scientifically bred beings that were half human, half ape. Ivanov's experiments were a total failure. He then tried human sperm in female chimpanzees. That, too, was a failure. At least we are told the experiments failed.
Easy.
Still today, there are some who insist the experiments were successful and that some of the surviving offspring escaped into the forest where their offspring are now occasionally spotted today. Be true or BS?
Andy.
Good night, Andy.
That'd be something. I'll go BS.
Sorry, that's true.
No!
That
No
is true.
way!
Wait, when you say
What?
true,
Oh, my
That's totally true.
yeah,
No,
but you're
my
saying
goodness.
the rumor is that I'm just a talk. The rumor is about them being that there may be some.
Yeah.
And we don't know if that's true.
That's the rumor.
But the experiment
but
itself.
the experiment itself is true.
The attempt at it. The attempt at it is true.
Well,
Yeah.
that was a weird day at the lab.
Wow.
That history is true.
It's true.
You ever seen Hugh Manzi? It was a. You ever seen him?
I did.
Yeah, he was very human-like. Smoked cigarettes and everything.
He's inside. He's alive. One thin dime will buy your time. Humanity. God's greatest mistake. Humanity.
Hugh Manzi.
Okay, I never thought that. I kept looking for where will Andy and Greg connect. We found
Hugh Manzi.
It's humanity. That's where they connected. That was the day their friendship took a step forward.
That's it.
Watching y'all quote that back and forth, I was like, "Well, they're really having a time, aren't
Hey,
they?"
Rick Hugh Manzi was amazing.
All right,
Google it.
we're down to history. Nobody can run from history anymore. That's all that's left. All right,
it.
yeah. So let's go to John in Georgia. John, how are you, buddy?
Just fine. How are you?
Good, John. All right, so it's down to history. We know what you're going to do. So be true or BS. We've only had one winner today. Andy's been difficult, but that winner did get $1,000. So here we go, John. History.
Here we go. Most dog breeds have origins as working animals. While some dogs are still used for specific jobs, it's far more common for today's canines to live a life of luxury as a pet. Obviously, most dog types made lifestyle adjustments as through the decades, 99.9% of all breeds evolved from work to play. One particular breed, however, has been completely lost to time. It was a smallish dog of specific type, long-bodied like a corgi with bowed legs like a bulldog. It was ugly and sported a mean temperament. The breed was called the Turnspit. Our first knowledge of the Turnspit, he was mentioned in the first book ever published about dogs in 1546. Even Shakespeare mentions them in his play, The Comedy of Errors. He calls someone a curtailed dog fit only to run in a wheel. The life of a Turnspit dog was miserable. Starting in Britain during the mid-1700s, the small dogs would be placed in what resembled a large hamster wheel attached to a wall in the kitchen. As they ran, the wheel would rotate a spit of meat over an open fire. These animals were viewed as kitchen utensils, a piece of machinery, instead of dogs, usually treated badly. Sometimes hot coals would be tossed into the wheel to make the dogs run faster.
So sad.
By the middle of the 19th century, the Turnspit breed was dying out due to improvements in kitchen technology. By the end of the 1800s, people were moving away from cooking over open fires, and since most people didn't want to keep the Turnspit as a pet, the breed soon became extinct. Today, there is one Turnspit left in the world named Whiskey. He was taxidermied in 1846 and is now on display at a museum in Wales. Be true or BS?
Let me say something. If this is BS, there's something wrong with you. Okay. So, okay.
If
you made this up at night. Okay. All right. John, you think that be true or BS?
I'm going to say be true.
Why would you say be true? Because it is.
No way.
It is true. That's
Whiskey.
true.
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
So where's whiskey right now?
In a museum in Wales.
Okay, so I'm actually comforted by it being true in a strange way.
You can actually Google Turnspit dog and see drawings of them up on a wall.
And he's in a little wheel running through the
hamster wheel.
Oh my goodness! All right, so good news for you, Mr. John from Georgia. That wheel has been kind. So Adler, Andy Andrews, Greg, or me to spin the wheel. Greg does have a hot hand right now.
Well, since Greg's hand is so hot, let's go with Greg.
All right, so
Or we could have a Turnspit dog turn it.
everybody say. All right. So John, you know how this works. You say it's wheel to me, and I'd like some enthusiasm there, and then Greg will spin it, and wherever she lands, either on a bundle or on a bit or on bucks, the wheel has the final say. All right, say it's wheel to me.
All right, Greg, it's will to me.
Let it rip. Can Greg produce more dollars today? He did it for Barry Barrett Derrick, and by the way, he could do it for John. John.
Come on.
Not a disaster, but no money. No money.
Not bad.
Not bad. It almost landed on a bit, which we would have been entertained by, I'm sure. You would have been disappointed. It did land on a bundle. So that means you do pick up some swag from the store at rickburgessshow.com. So you do get some cool stuff, okay? And you won.
Sure, I'll take it.
And you get your year subscription to Wisdom Harbor, okay? So that's
All
cool.
right.
All right, John, thank you for playing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
See you, buddy. So, Andy, what is wrong with you? Where do you find these things?
Well, I read a lot, and they spark my imagination. So I'm 50% true, 50% BS. I will tell you this.
Yes, you are.
I will tell you this. Throughout my life, I've always felt like I don't know is not an acceptable answer. That when somebody asks something, if you don't know the answer, just make it up. And then after you make it up, they can go, really? And you can go, no, I just made that up.
Is that your life advice for everybody
That's
today?
my life advice.
There it is. Andy Andrews, thanks for being with us, buddy. Andy Andrews, congratulations to Barry Barrett Derrick, $1,000. And John picked up a little swag, our two winners today. And then we had some strikeout. So you were 2 for 2 today.
50% is about what we get.
Well, you just told us you are 50% true and 50% BS. We'll be right back. Stay close.
This is the Rick Burgess Show.
I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Oil of oregano for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by YouNameIt.com. Are you lacking purpose in your life? Do you feel your professional life stagnating? Ready for a change? YouNameIt.com has the answer to all of it. When lost in the constant loop of uncertainty, not knowing how you'll transition to another career, not knowing what is required for you to try, go to younameit.com and just, name it. At our core, we are a business card company, and we know that you don't need another degree. You just need a different business card. Want to try your hand at surgery before going to all the trouble of a medical degree? We have a card for you, doctor. Maybe you'd like to minister to a local congregation. We can print the word ordained on a card faster than you could get ordained. We can superimpose a cross over the word and you're good to go. Find out for sure whether you even want to go to seminary with YouNameIt.com. At YouNameIt.com, we can have your name on a professionally designed, profession-specific business card delivered to you within 48 hours. When it comes to education, our motto is, why buy it when you can try it? YouNameIt.com. Log on now.